welcome to this training. I want to start by saying that we are facing a unique challenge as working dads in this day and age. We're blessed with the internet and being able to work from anywhere with our smartphones. The problem is it's very hard to create that division. What ends up happening is we are short with our wife after hours of work, or we ignore our kids, or we don't play with them. And then we feel guilty about that because the draw is always there to be productive. Our phone can be in our pocket all the time. So we think my value comes from looking after the family, making the money and the breadwinner. And therefore we justify sending one more message, one more email while our kids are trying to talk to us or play with us. And we do the same maybe at dinner time with the missus. So this system, the reset, has been designed to help you, to give you strategies. It's not a personal weakness. It's the fact that we have good intentions. We just don't have systems to get the best out of both worlds, work and home. Let's go through that now. Before I begin, by the way, grab yourself a brew. This is it's lemongrass, pint thereof. And lemongrass and ginger are really good for digestion, if that's something you want to improve. All right, this first and second space, reset. First space is your home. First space is the work. Second space is your home. Picture the scene. It's 5:47 p.m. and you close your laptop. Your head is still inside that last conversation. Your numbers, your deadlines, a decision you need to make tomorrow. You walk into the house or the family area if you work from home, and your child starts talking to you. You nod, but you're not fully there. That is not exhaustion. That is what we call carryover or domain bleed from one to the other. Carryover is a pattern. You have our first space, so the work, decisions, pressure, and output. There's no reset. And then we go into the second space, which is about family, presence, emotional leadership. And by the way, when I say leadership, I don't mean control or authority. I mean taking responsibility for the tone, for the direction and the well-being of the family, and leading through example, not dominance. So for example, sometimes we tell our kids what to do, like don't be looking at the screen or to take the laptop away, or the iPad, should I say, but then we don't do it ourselves. And kids will be what they see. So that's just a clear definition of leadership, because I don't mean it in a patriarchal way like you're the dominant figure that just tells people what to do. Most men move between these spaces without a reset. And the first space leaks into the second space. This isn't personality flaw. This is what we call transition failure. So the real problem is you cannot switch identities instantly. Your nervous system doesn't shut off because the laptop closes. Cognitive residue remains. Unfinished thoughts remain, and emotional tone remains. So without a reset, you bring the first space energy into the second space conversations. And that's where the friction starts. I should say, it's a balancing act. And if you want to take stock of all these aspects of your life, work, home, health, relationship, family, you can take the quiz below. If you just click below this video in the show notes, there's a 2-minute quiz that will give you the clarity that you need. Moving on. This happens because research on attention residue shows when you move from one demanding environment to another, part of your focus stays behind. You're physically in the room, but mentally you're still in the last room. Add to that decision fatigue, elevated stress response, and unclosed cognitive loops, which I'll talk about in a second, and you walk into the family space half present. Now, just to give you if you haven't heard the terminology of a loop, a cognitive loop, do you ever wonder when you go into a restaurant and you order a meal, when the waiter doesn't write anything down, how does he remember it all? Because he's opened a cognitive loop. Now, he will keep that order in his brain until he physically puts it in the till and rings the order through. Once he does that, subconsciously, he's closed the loop. So if you were to stop the waiter before he's put your order through and say to him, oh, I want to make a change in my order, he'll know straight away what the order was. Well, once he's put that order through, he's closed the cognitive loop, and it could be a matter of seconds. He won't be able to recall the order or find it very, very difficult. So that's what we call opening a cognitive loop. And you'll see this in social media as well. Someone will present a problem at the start of a video, but not give you the answer straight away. And mentally you're thinking, I'm going to wait like a cliffhanger until the speaker has closed that cognitive loop so I know the answer or the outcome. So the cost of skipping this reset, it's very subtle. You're there, but you're short. You're listening, but you're distracted. You're responding, but you're not leading. You're not setting the tone. And over time, presence weakens, connection reduces, authority at home drops, and guilt builds slowly. And this is the thing about authority. Do you ever meet the couple and the woman, the wife, slags off the husband? That's a word that means insult if you're watching from America. And she does it in a jokey way. So we had a neighbor, an old neighbor, because we moved house. And every time we'd see them, she would make a dig at him about the fact that he doesn't go to the gym. Because every time he'd see me, because I'm a personal trainer, he would feel like he had to justify, oh yeah, I'm going to start going to the gym, even though I didn't bring it up. And then when she heard that, she'd be like, oh, you will, whatever, you know. They say in Ireland, you will in your hole, which means you're not going to. And it was so uncomfortable to see because she meant it in jest, but nothing is said in jest. She was implying that he has no authority over himself. And that is a slow decline that may not end in divorce, but it ends in a very unhappy marriage. So over time, as mentioned, this compounds. It's not dramatic. So it doesn't compound dramatically, but steadily. It's like the frog in the water that boils. You know, if you throw a frog into boiling water, he's going to jump out. You put him in at room temperature and slowly heat it, he'll die without even noticing. So the first and second space reset is a deliberate transition between work and home. It's not a ritual, it's a system. Its purpose is simple: to prevent cross-domain bleed, to clear cognitive residue, and to consciously install your second space identity before entering it. Phase 1, close the first space. Before you leave your workspace, write tomorrow's top priority. Just the one. List any open loops, which you know what that means now. Send the essential message, just one. Well, if you have two, you can do two, but shut down all work applications. So when I say essential, there is a difference between important and urgent. And be very clear what that is. Because everything is important when it comes to work. But what's urgent? If something urgent needs to be addressed immediately, if something's important, can it be done tomorrow? So the laptop is closed, tabs are closed, and Slack is closed. By the way, when I say Slack, That's a messaging app if you don't know what that is, and most companies use it. But basically, you close your messaging app. There's no one last check, and this signals to your brain work is contained. Phase 2 is to offload the mind. So clear the residue. Now you clear what's still running in the background. This takes 5 to 10 minutes. Pen and paper only. Which I'll go over in a second. While we do that, write down anything unresolved, any lingering decisions, and any pressure you're carrying. Once it's on paper, it's parked. Your brain doesn't need to keep rehearsing it. It's not you're resolving it, you're offloading it. And here's why we use pen and paper. Analog. And can I just say, you may be similar to me. I'm 44 very soon, next week. And I remember life when it was analog, and now when it's digital. And what an amazing life to have, to experience both. You know, I could talk about this all day, but I won't go into it. But like, there is a place and a time for analog, and this is the place and the time, this scenario. So there's no phone, no apps, no laptop. Because if the device is open, work is still open. Paper creates a boundary. Digital keeps the door cracked. So this is about separation. That's 2 phases we've done. Now, third phase, regulate the body. You can't think your way into being calm. You regulate physically. So choose one of these. You don't have to do all of them. 5-minute walk without the phone. Change clothes immediately. I.e., put on something that's suitable for home or that you feel good in. But either way, change what you've been wearing for the workday. Or, if you're feeling a bit more lazy, cold water on the face. And my personal favorite, 5 to 6 slow nasal breaths. I spent many years working as a yoga teacher, meditation coach. And the benefits of breathing through the nose are astronomical, because when we breathe through our mouth, it signals our fight or flight response. When you breathe through our nose, it signals our rest and digest. Also, our nose has hairs in it which filter out toxins and environmental pollutants. So whenever you can, nasal breathing is best. It also helps if you tend to snore, to practice breathing through your nose. And from maybe a slightly shallow way, get in the habit of shutting your mouth. I mean that politely. As in, when you're walking down the street, going into a meeting, at work, people look better when their mouth is closed and like that, walking around like that. If you see me in public and I've got my mouth wide open, say, "Oi, Kev, shut your mouth." I won't take it to heart. So if you do any of those 5 or 4, you're shifting from performance mode to presence mode. It's physiology first. Okay. Installing the second space identity. Before you walk in to that family space or your house, ask, who am I in this space with? Who am I in this space? I'm not a CEO. I'm not a manager. I'm a father. I'm a partner. What standard am I looking to uphold tonight? Calm, playful, attentive? Choose it consciously. Identity is not automatic. It's installed. This is the sequence. Close, offload, regulate, install. Here's a recap. Close the domain. Offload the mind. Regulate the body. Install the identity. And then enter intentionally. Total is about 15 to 20 minutes. Short, deliberate, and non-negotiable. So this is about containment, not withdrawal. you're protecting the reset by, just like we did it in the previous video, part 2, there's constraint installation. We call that like the blinkers. You protect it like you protect strategy time. So you block out in the calendar, 5 to 5:30 is when I do this reset. You communicate your availability windows clearly. So let the missus know. Say, look, I finish work now, but I'll be with you in half an hour. And there's no quick message check. This isn't withdrawal, it's containment. Contain work so home stays clean. Literally and metaphorically. A common pushback that I get when I talk about this is, I don't have time. I'll take a sip while I let that sit with you. I don't have time. That is, and we all say it sometimes, but you do. You just haven't allocated it. Or I need to be available to my work, colleagues, team, boss, employees. Availability without regulation lowers quality. So when we say, oh yeah, I can multitask, I can be with the kids but also be available online, both are done badly. Or people might say to me, my schedule is unpredictable. All the more reason you need a boundary. Unpredictable work demands stronger transitions. This is where the 14-day reset comes in. So trial this. For 14 days consecutively, track your emotional tone entering the house, the number of reactive moments, the quality of evening conversations, your own stress level at 9 p.m. Like take for example, and I want to show you that no one is perfect. My missus said to me last night that I talk about work too much. And she's right. No, it's simple as that. I kind of let it consume me. I let the two things bleed over. So I say this to you, not as an expert, but someone who practices this, but sometimes I slip up. Especially when you work a day you're working from home, you really need to be on this. And your own stress level at 9 p.m. Measure that. Measure it. Don't guess it. You'll see the difference very quickly. Why this matters. Okay, so in the last video, we talked about how you architect your week. This video, we're talking about how you protect the daily transitions. And the next video, part 4, how you compound execution through daily micro wins. Because we don't want to feel overwhelmed. This is not isolated advice. It's an operating system. Daily micro wins. So how to maintain momentum across all 5 pillars. That's, if you don't know it already, body, mind, relationships, family, i.e. kids, and work. How to maintain momentum across all those without burning out. The Apex Dad system isn't about intensity. It's about controlled, repeatable execution. Hope that was helpful. And again, when you need clarity, take that quiz, as mentioned. It takes 2 minutes. It will tell you everything you need to know. And it will give you a mirror to see where you're at, which is going to help you to get where you're going. Thanks a lot.